What's up, you guys? It is your boy JB, and I'm here with a review for The Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, Season 1, Episode 8. Episode was titled Hot Tub Confessions. Not much with this week's episode like the last two, but we'll definitely talk about it nonetheless. So let's go ahead and jump into the episode review, shall we? All right, you guys, so the episode, we start up with Heather. So Heather's scene really wasn't much. But with Heather, we see Heather. So you guys know Heather has her beauty barn spa. So I don't know if Heather is building this bigger place so that she can leave where she is now currently. I don't know. But we see her and her business partner, and they are meeting up with their contractor. And, you know, they're talking about the business. Honestly, like I said, it just wasn't much with that scene. But I will say one thing about Heather, however, is in that scene, especially in her interview with the producers, in her green screen, I think they do green. I don't know if they do green screen or if they do like what Real Housewives of Atlanta and Potomac do, have just an actual backdrop of a house, and I think it's always their house. But I think Salt Lake City is filming in front of a green screen. Yeah. But yeah, you know, looking at her in her green screen, she's very passionate about her business. That is one thing I can definitely see with her, is like, wow, when she talks about her business, she's very passionate about it. I want the same thing for her in her personal life, how she is with her business. I just don't think that Heather knows who Heather is completely, and I want her to find out who Heather is. But yeah, let's move on, you guys. Like I said, there just wasn't much with Heather in this episode. All right, you guys, next let's discuss Meredith. So we see Meredith, and you know, Meredith is working. She's pulling some looks for, I guess, a stylist is coming over. And so she gets a FaceTime call from Brooks. And you know, she's talking to Brooks about the fact that Seth is coming there because, you know, they're doing a snowmobiling excursion with the other couples, i.e., well, actually it wasn't the other couple. It was the other couples, and Heather was included. So Brooks is still in his feelings about the fact that Seth did not come to the fashion show. I get it, but at this point, Brooks, I mean, you just got to kind of let it go. And I'm still stuck on the fact that Brooks only had one freaking look. You're not a fashion designer if you have just one look. So while Meredith is on the phone with Brooks, in walks Seth. And Seth gets on the FaceTime, and you know, Brooks is like, you missed my fashion show. And Seth apologizes for it. And then, you know, once he gets off the phone with Brooks, he talks to Meredith. And he's talking to Meredith, and he's telling Meredith that the reason that he didn't want to come to the fashion show is because of, you know, where they are in their relationship, and he just didn't want to bring bring the mood down. And I'm thinking to myself, I get where you're coming from about not wanting to, you know, be, I guess in a sense, be the focal point. But that's still your son. Why come you didn't just come and support him and basically say, you know what, Meredith, right now we don't know where we are, but let's be a united front and support our son. That's the easiest thing to do. And, you know, Meredith and Seth, they're talking about their relationship. Seth does, take some, responsibility in what's going on with their relationship, but he does tell Meredith that he still wants to be with Meredith. And Meredith says that, you know, she still wants to be with Seth. And I'm like, are you certain you want to be with, you know, Seth? And I'm not even going off of what Jen said in last week's episode. I'm just going from what I'm seeing on this show. It's like, you don't really seem like you're that much into him. But that ain't got nothing to do with me. Let us move on. All right, you guys, next up we got Lisa. Much like I said with Heather, it ain't much with Lisa in this episode. Why does this feel like these are filler episodes back to back? I feel like we're not going to get the most. I think next week we're going to get some drama, and then I know in episode 10 we're going to get some, because we saw, that was the thing about Bravo. Bravo has shown last week clips of episode 10, but we were not on episode 10 yet. So Lisa and John, they go on a date with each other. Now, mind you, they are on a date with each other. So they sit down. The waiter asks them what do they want to drink. She says, "Let Ian surprise me." Then they order their food, and then while they're waiting on their food, she's talking about business. And I'm like, wow, that is not what I would expect on a date with my wife, or in her case, her husband. Like, why would you go on a date with your spouse, your husband or your wife, and discuss business? I was actually with John. He was like, I was hoping that you would leave business with the business. So basically, he tells her that he feels like, he and the boys are on the low end of the totem pole. And, I understand Lisa. Honestly, I do. She wants the successful business. I definitely do get that. And it's always a double standard when it comes to men and women, especially, oh, Jesus, something just got in my eye. Especially when it comes to men and women as far as running a business. It's okay for a man to not be there and present for his kids, but it's not okay for a woman. I don't think it's okay for either, to be quite honest with you. I think both parents need to be present and active in the kids' lives. I think that she just needs to prioritize business and spend time, prioritize business. Once, you get to a certain, set a time limit for yourself. So say probably about 7, 8 o'clock at night, no more business. It's all about my family, and leave it at that. But yeah, that's where Lisa and John are. I finally know the man's name. All right, you guys, next let's talk about Whitney and her husband, Justin. So Whitney is letting us know that she and Justin are getting ready to go to the sober living place where her dad is staying at. And, Justin is just, telling Whitney, like, when we get there and we have a conversation with your dad, be mindful of your approach to him. So in the interviews with the producers, that's where she tells us that her dad is wanting to leave the sober living house because he's getting a roommate. And I was confused by that. I'm like, okay, he's getting a roommate. What does that have to do with anything? As long as his roommate is not someone that is, sneaking drugs or anything in, I don't see the issue. I really don't. So when Whitney and her and Justin get there, they're in a mediation, and they're sitting there with her dad, I think, and a counselor. And, he's talking about the fact that when he went there, thinking that he would not get a roommate, and how he doesn't want one. I'm still sitting here once again trying to figure out why doesn't he want a roommate. It just, like I said, it didn't make a lot of sense to me. So then he was talking about the fact that, he doesn't want a roommate because he wants to get back to his career. And I'm like, huh? That doesn't make sense. I would think a roommate would be helpful for you. You guys could be accountable. You guys could be each other's, sober buddy, I guess, so to speak. And then he's talking about he wants to get back into his career. And, Whitney had to ask him, so what plans do you have? How are you going to, what are you going to do? You're going to go work for someone? And he was like, no, he was going to open up his salon. And she was like, with what money? And I'm like, exactly, what money? I feel like her dad is just at this point flying by the seat of his pants. To me, it actually doesn't sound like he's that sober, because someone who, he might be sober, but he's irrational. So you just gonna go open up a business. Granted, I know, Whitney's talking about his past, but I just don't think it's a good idea. I think he needs to stay in sober living, get what they can give him there, and then once he gets out, go work for someone, be someone's stylist, and then build your clientele back up. And then if you have once you get the money or get a loan or whatever, and then go open up your own salon. But this right here is very hasty, and I don't understand it. And then Whitney in her interview was talking to the producers, telling the producers that when she was, when he went to rehab, now I would have told him, fuck off. Really would have told him, I think she did say she told him to fuck off or fuck you. I would have told him to fuck off when she said he brought up, what all he had done for her, the things he had paid for her as a child and I guess as a teenager. I would have told him, you are not going to guilt trip me into buying shit for you. And I think that's what he wants at this point. I feel like he's trying to be a burden on Whitney and Justin, and have them, help him get back on his feet. No, sir, not gonna happen. Like, how do you do that to your child? That was more than likely the drugs talking. But let's move on, you guys. All right, you guys. Next, let's end the episode with Jen Shah. With Jen, I came into this season I didn't like Jen because of the things that I was seeing on Twitter. I was seeing her social media persona. I'm like, if her social media presence is this abrasive and team too much, I can only imagine what she's gonna be like on the show. Because like she had came at Real Housewives of Dallas one of the stars of Real Housewives of Dallas, Brandy Redmond. And what Brandy said wasn't even offensive. She said that one of the Salt Lake City housewives was renting. And I think it's Jen. Because a hit dog will holler. So we see Jen and Sharrieff is back for the first time, and God knows, I don't think we saw Sharrieff since that party that she had in episode 1 or 2. Meredith's birthday party the next day. I think that was the last time we saw Sharrieff. So now here's where Jen bothers me. Jen it's like Jen lives in a glass house and she's throwing stones, because she's in her interview talking to the producers and she's passing judgment on Meredith and Seth's relationship. And I'm sitting here thinking to myself, how are you judging anybody? It's like the pot calling the kettle black. Because you have been sitting here this entire season complaining about the fact that Sharrieff is never home, but here you are trying to pass judgment on Meredith and Seth's relationship. Tend to your garden first and then try to worry about somebody else's and try to help them with their relationship. So like I said, once again, I'm gonna say this once again, Jen is the type of chick that I just would not fuck with. So they go skiing, they go snowmobiling. And after that, they have a little picnic in the snow. I'm like, I would not be eating. I'm sorry, the snow and a picnic? Yeah, it ain't for me. So, Sharrieff and I think it was Lisa who asked Sharrieff how did he and Jen meet each other. He told they were in college, something about a party. Her family was there, He had to dance with her family around. Then he asked her, does she want to go to get something to eat afterwards? She was like, yes, and her family had to come with them, whatever. So then, you guys remember in last week's episode, Jen was talking to Whitney about Meredith and Seth's relationship. So Whitney, sees Meredith and Seth, and she's like, wow, this is interesting, because Jen, made it seem like Meredith has another dude. And then she goes and talks to Heather, and apparently Jen has ran her mouth to Heather as well. She showed Heather a photo of Meredith with another guy. And it's just like, damn, with a friend like Jen, who the hell needs enemies? Because that is fucked up. Like, so you running around spreading this woman's business that you don't know if it's true or not. Again, worry about your business. So then we see the couples that are back at Jen and Sharrieff's home. And, Sharrieff and Seth, they're talking about the difference between the Mormon church and, the Muslim church. Muslims can't drink, they don't eat pork. And then Sharrieff asked, Lisa about her having a tequila business and being a Mormon. And she gave her reasons whatever. Don't really give a shit. So then, the ladies go to the hot tub and the men are, playing inside, playing a game. So they're talking about their marriages respectively outside. Now here's my thing. So Sharif was talking about his relationship with Jen. He's like, when he's home, she's out working, doing businesses. But the thing that got me is he said he's recruiting, and that is a whole that's a whole year process. I don't know too much about football recruiting, and I know it is a process, but because they do look. I know, well, it ain't that. It ain't that lengthy of a process. Seth was talking about his relationship, and once again, Jen. So Jen was talking about Sharif not going to her father's funeral. I still don't understand that situation. How he did not. I know you got bereavement time. You could have took it and been there for your wife. That's why I feel like it's more to it's more with Jen and Sharif. She's trying to play it off on Meredith and Seth, but I think it's you two as well. And they talked to Meredith about her relationship, and Meredith is like, she and Seth want to work things out with each other, but Jen feels some type of way. She feels like Meredith is hiding things from her. Hell, I would too. You have a big ass mouth. You spill everybody's tea but your own tea. Like that is what I can't stand about her. That is the one thing about Jen I just do not like. But you guys, that is gonna wrap it up for me with the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. Be sure to like this video. Please leave your comments in the comment section below and subscribe to the channel. And you guys, share this on social media. If you guys want to follow me on social media, you guys can click the link in the description bar. It'll show you where I'm at on social media. I'm Jbsayzwhat on all platforms, with the exception of Twitter. I'm Jbsayzwhat1 on Twitter. I guess Jbsayzwhat. Oh, I did take it, and they took that Twitter from me. Damn. All right, you guys. Yeah. So also, you guys remember to be safe. We're going into New Year's. Be safe. Remember, wash your hands, wear your mask, and socially distance. And I won't see you guys on New Year's Day. Yeah. So, and I will see you guys for love at the lockup, but it probably won't be until Saturday morning, because New Year's Day, if you guys don't know, it'll be 8 years since my grandmother passed away. So I'm trying to debate if I want to go home and visit her grave or what I want to do. But you guys have a great New Year's, and I'll see you guys later. Bye, guys.